Hey everybody, this is Armijo, ChatArmijoCoaching.com. It is just a fantastic day. It's the day after the US election anyway, so everybody's still kind of up in the air trying to figure out what's going on, but if I don't put my energy there, today we're going to talk about something completely different. Nothing that has to do with politics, right? So what we are going to discuss is why the majority of people don't hit their stride. They don't find success until they reach 40 years old or around that time. And so this was something that I struggled with. I struggled with early on because when I hit probably 18, I always wanted my own business, but I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family, right? I came from a family that they kind of followed the playbook. They went to school, they got their jobs, they retired, and that was that. But I never felt that was the life for me. So it was a little bit more difficult because I needed to find that mentor. I needed to find that guide that can lead me to my direction. So when I hit my 20s, I started looking and searching, and I'd have these great ideas that I knew they were great because a few years later, somebody would put them into fruition and do really well with them. And I always had this thought that, I don't have funding for that. I don't have this or I don't have that. And so my 20s were a struggle. I would do a few businesses, small businesses, and try to get them to grow. And I just had a real hard time to get things to flow the way I wanted them to. It was probably because I wasn't doing what I was passionate about. And B, it was probably because I was searching for the wrong thing. I was searching for the monetary and financial rewards instead of the enjoyable aspect of running a business that you are passionate about, right? So as I reached closer, I just turned 40 this year back in June. But as we got to that spot, as I got closer and closer to that, I realized that my business was doing a lot better. My business was actually running, actually operating, and that I was actually turning a little bit of a profit. So I was able to kind of be self-sufficient. And, if you've read any of the books like Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting Rich, what is Bob Proctor's book is You Were Born Rich. And so any of these books, they all describe that people kind of hit their stride around 40 years old. Psycho-Cybernetics is another one with Maxwell Maltz. But there's a great reason that it takes a little bit longer for most people to reach that stride. Now, of course, not everybody's in that same area. You've got your young entrepreneurs that are just thoroughly laser focused and they succeed right out of the gate. Now, the reason that it takes most people a little bit longer to reach their stride is because of focus. And so when you're in your 20s, you're still kind of searching for a lot of things. You're searching for your place in life. You're searching for just where you belong, the group of people you want to spend your time with and put your energy towards. And you're also trying to find, a lot of times you're trying to find a partner to share that with, right? A significant other. And so you've got a lot of things going on, a lot of different toes in the water, so to speak. And so what happens during this early time, our 20s, our late teens, our early 30s, we're still trying to come to terms with ourselves, with who we are. And so we don't have that focus. We don't have that laser-like focus. And a lot of times we don't even understand what we want to do the rest of our lives, right? So our society is always geared wrong. It was always geared towards, you go to school, you're supposed to know what you want to do for the next 25 plus years until you reach retirement, and then you die. And that's the way it was for a long, long time. Well, the millennials started to change that, right? Millennials started thinking like, why do I want to put my money towards something I'm going to be paying off the rest of my life? And why do I need a car if I can use this little electric bike or whatever it is? Millennials started to think differently. They started to say, why do I need to go out and buy CDs if I can subscribe to a music service? Why do I need to, pay a whole bunch of money for a video game system if I can just play these games on my phone? Whatever it is, they thought differently. And they disrupted the whole operation of things, right? And so millennials, they would see their parents go to work every single day. They would see them come home, and a lot of times they were frustrated, they were stressed, they weren't happy, they didn't enjoy their life. And I said, why? What's the point? Or they saw their parents work their butt off their whole lives, and when they retired, they got some kind of health issue, and they weren't able to go enjoy their retirement and go around and travel and see these things. So why? What's the point? And so millennials started to change the thought patterns. They started to think differently. And I'm not saying it's just millennials. This has happened for a long time, but we're seeing more of these younger generations question the system that was in place, right? Which is awesome. I think it's fantastic. I think we should always question things. And so I always kind of followed that same thought process. I thought, it doesn't make sense for me to work my life away with a job that I'm not happy with, that brings me stress and anxiety, and maybe I'm not the most fun person to be around when I come to my family. None of that made sense to me. And the first thing I wanted to do was get out. I wanted to figure out how to do it, to get out and to wake up and to really see the world from a different perspective, because there's always a different way to do things. We've just been so conditioned to believe that there are only certain ways to do certain things, which is not the case at all. There's always another way, okay? So when we're in that younger, those 20s, early 30s, late teens, maybe 18s, 19s, we lack the focus that is required of us to really follow our passion, to engage in our passion, and to live a life that we are truly fulfilled with, right? And so as we get to these, and I hate to use the term older years because it's not even midlife anymore. We're going to be living to a lot longer age ranges, right? And so as I got to this state in life, this time where I'm nearing my 40s, I realized that I did a lot more introspective learning. I started to look within myself and to really figure out who I was. And then once I did that, it was easier for me to find out what I really enjoyed doing, which is helping others to understand mindset and to live a fulfilling life, a joyful life, an abundant life. And so once I found this and I realized this purpose, this goal, this passion that I had, then I was able to put it into play. And it wasn't any easier, so to speak. It wasn't like it was simpler now than it was earlier. No. I have, I had family that I had to worry about. I had to make sure I was still getting food on the table and bills being paid. And so if anything, it was maybe a little bit more challenging. But when I have this focus, when I'm able to concentrate more on what I really want to do versus what the outside world is wanting me to do, then things came together. And so a lot of times around our 40s, we start to find that focus. We start to look within. We start to understand that all the things we were chasing before, maybe it was the money, maybe sex, maybe the drugs and rock and roll, maybe all these things that we thought were important are no longer relevant to us. We don't find them as entertaining as we did once before, or maybe they just kind of had their run and we're done with them. We don't want to put our energy into it anymore. Or maybe, we just kind of matured a little bit. We have a family and we realize that that's not the most beneficial thing we can do at this time in our lives. And so when we get to that point, we start to really create that laser-like focus that I was talking about that some of these young entrepreneurs have right off the bat. If we look at somebody like Elon Musk or even Zuckerberg of Facebook. I mean, these guys were young. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they were young when they set out to do what they wanted to do, but they had this laser-like focus. And you can almost see that they had a lot less of that social interaction than most people have. They're very, very focused, almost to this hyper-focused type of level, right? So maybe there's slight autism back there that is just kind of pushing them further and further into their work. But anyway, they have this laser-like focus. And so now as we get to our 40s, as we age, we are able to gather that focus. We are able to engage in that focus for ourselves. And when we do that, we are more likely to obtain our goals and to really begin living the life that we're passionate about. There are a lot of people my age now that are just sick of their jobs. They've been doing it for 10 years or longer. They've been unfulfilled from the beginning, and they're finally saying, I need to make a change. And with all that's going on in this world, this is probably one of the best times to make that change. It may not seem like it, but it is, because we've got all this turmoil and chaos going around, and we can't go out and distract ourselves with sporting events or nightly drinking at the bars and the clubs, whatever it may be. We're able to actually be contained and focused. Okay, so use this time to your advantage. Understand that when we compare ourselves to others, there's never anything good that comes out of it, right? So if you're looking at some 20-year-old that's just excelling and kicking butt in their business, and you're still behind, don't base your progress on what somebody else is doing, right? Be grateful for what you've accomplished and really recognize all your achievements. And as you begin to do that and put away any type of comparison to anybody else, you'll understand that it's never too late. You're never too old to succeed or to accomplish your goals, as long as you put forth that effort to do it, as long as you can keep that focus, and understand that 40 is not our death sentence anymore. This is our beginning of life, okay? Many, many successful people have started off at 40. I mean, look at the ages of even Samuel L. Jackson when he first got his big breakout role. I think he was closer to 50. We've got Sir Richard Branson. He was another one that failed. And once he hit with his Virgin Records or Virgin Music, whatever it was at the time that got him big, he was in the upper years. He was closer to 40. And so there are countless examples of people that hit their stride around 40. If you don't believe me, search it on Google, right? And so this is Chad Armijo. I appreciate you watching this. Hit that like button, thumbs up. Also, be sure to check out my book on Amazon, Wake Up and Recalibrate by Chad Armijo. It's available now, paperback or Kindle. I will see you on the next one. I love you all.